Howdy.
Hello, and we're live, finally back with iTechNation Episode 1. Today, it's all about the Promethean board.
Prometheans and everything to know about them. I'm Gregory Castille. I am the skills specialist over at Reed Academy, and I'm pleased to be here presenting with
Suzy Garcia, the instructional technology specialist at Escamilla Intermediate, and you can follow me on Twitter at GadgetsGarcia.
Did I forget Twitter?
You forgot Twitter.
Twitter, at no teacher like me. No teacher, ever, anywhere.
So, Gregory, what do we do with these Promethean boards? They're in there. They're there.
They are everywhere. And I think for a lot of teachers right now, we're just scared to try them out. So I really want us to try to go through a list of like do's and don'ts for our Prometheans so that everyone feels like a little bit safer with just trying it out, pushing that green button, turning it on.
Don't forget to turn on the computer on the back first, though, because then it won't work.
Step number 1, there are 2 buttons.
There are 2 buttons. You turn on the back, then you turn on the front.
Exactly. And then at the end of every day, remember to turn off the front green button and the silver button at the back.
And there is a great way to shut it off. There's a great Schoology tutorial, if you haven't found it, in the middle of the ePortal dashboard, all about your Promethean board and starting it up if you haven't looked at that yet.
All right, so let's get started with our do's and don'ts. Okay, don't number 1, don't forget that it's connected. Okay, this thing comes with Wi-Fi. You have the internet at your fingertips, and your kids can really benefit from being able to pull up different sites, pull up different activities, and have the students touch.
And that's one of the key things that we always have to remind everybody, that the students are to touch it. That's why it's so low, because I cannot reach the top. And I am not very much larger than some of our younger students. So we do have to keep in mind that when we're talking about our Promethean boards, they are there for our students' interaction.
And I think it's important to remember also that that's why they're at different heights in our classes. I'm at an intermediate campus, and it's important to know that those Prometheans are mounted at the elementary level so that our taller students, as well as our height-challenged students, still have the ability and option to interact with these boards and this technology. All right, so let's move on to number 2.
All right.
All right, don't number 2, don't keep it turned off. Okay, you cannot work it if it's not on. So we really want you to make sure that at least once a day, you go in there, you turn it on, and you allow a student to maybe even teach it to you. Because our kids are a lot more familiar with touch technology than a lot of our instructors.
In fact, some of our students, as we were getting our Promethean boards put in, some of the rooms were ready before others.
True.
And they kept asking their teacher, hey, I use it in so-and-so's class. Do you know how to use it? I can show you. They want to show you how to use this because they see the benefit in it. But they can't use it if you don't turn it on.
Definitely. Okay, so now that we have it on, okay, we want you to remember that you do not use any type of marker or handheld device to touch the screen. Okay, these are very sensitive. My teachers at my school tell me I'm going to go to jail for being a board abuser because I am always double tapping and making sure that it's working. But again, we don't want to use any pins, sharp items, because it will damage the touch screen, and then our kids lose access to it.
It does come with a phenomenal stylus already.
True.
I would definitely caution people from using the pen-in stylus.
Yes.
Oftentimes, as you press with the squishy part, the pen point comes out, and then you've got a wonderful mark across your beautiful new board. But they are pretty durable, so I do have some teachers that are concerned about chairs bumping into them.
Okay.
It's not a soft glass. It's not an iPhone that's going to shatter into 1,000 pieces. It can take some hits and be okay.
That makes sense.
Please don't try to kick it, though.
And remember, the best pointer is always a student's finger. Definitely when working with younger children, they don't realize how strong they really are, and you don't want to give them options that could, be detrimental to your class.
So the pointer finger that I got from the book fair is not a good idea to...
I would try not to.
Okay.
I would try not to. Our next tip is going to be, remember that when you're using your Prometheans, okay, you never want to teach with your back to the class. This is not replacing horrible teaching. Just because you're using an electronic screen does not make a lesson more interactive. It really comes down to having that connection with your students and building and supporting the instruction with technology. It's to support, not to supplant.
Ooh.
Yeah, fancy term.
That's a catchphrase right there. And then you do have to know that if you're not using it as a projector, as your second screen, then you really shouldn't be turning your back away to your students.
Exactly.
Because this is an interactive tool, not a replacement for your projector.
Okay, so we want to, I think that should be like item like 5 maybe. We want to remind everyone to please make sure you leave a comment.
On the YouTube channel.
The YouTube channel.
Because we do get the questions sent to us. So we may not be reading them right now, but we've got some awesome producers that will let us know what you're saying.
Exactly. All right, so now I'm a language arts teacher, or I guess I'm former language arts teacher, kind of still language arts teacher.
Once a teacher, always a teacher.
Okay, I'll take it. So one of the biggest items that we use in our classes now are Post-its. And we posted everything. We posted our thoughts. We posted what we were trying to think. We posted what we thought we were going to do and what to do later. But it's very important to remember not to put Post-its or any type of adhesive anywhere on the screen. Okay, a lot of times we'll say, well, I'll just use the border of the screen, and that's going to be safe enough. If any part of it picks up on the touch panel, it kind of throws it into a tizzy.
So, as a reminder, it should not be holding your anchor charts.
It cannot. It shall not.
It should not. Should not. I won't say that I've experienced that, but I may have been noticing anchoring charts anchored to our Promethean boards.
And I'm not saying they were trying to have ill will. They had the best intentions. The students were sitting on the floor right there. But that's not what it's made for.
No. And when we're talking about adhesives, we need to also think about what you're doing with cleaning it.
Yes.
Please don't put your hand sanitizer on it.
No.
That would not be good.
Okay.
Maybe
no
not.
wipe downs.
Yeah, don't wipe it down with the Clorox scrubby pads. No. Fabuloso should not be on your board either. Just a nice soft towel.
Yes.
We'll wipe it down.
Even if you have the lens cleaners.
Lens cleaners work great.
It does really well with just getting those fingerprints off and the dust off of it. So remembering to keep it safe, keep it clean, but don't damage the boards, people. They're new. If you have a problem with your board, you always want to remember to tell your iTech through a work order, but it's going to take a while sometimes for them to actually get into your class. So it's not going to be like an immediate fix because there's a chain of command we have here. And when we have something new, everyone has issues. So we want you to remember, don't fix it on your own, put in a work order, and then just wait. Wait patiently.
And we get there as quick as we can.
I
promise. We're not ignoring you intentionally. We're just going through the process of who's in dire need first. If there's a boogie on your screen, I'm not coming to your room first. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, it depends on how big. All right, the next tip is it's never okay to neglect training. Today's a perfect example of that. We're going to have some fun conversation, a little back and forth about the Prometheans, but number one, the best training is actually using it and then asking for help. Okay, we can't really fix or coach you on anything that you're not using, as well as what you talked about earlier, the Schoology course that's posted on
eSchool.
eSchool. No, ePortal.
ePortal, yes, not
ePortal.
eSchool.
No,
Too many
not
E's.
Yes, the
Portal
that we can get at home, like in the comforts of our couch, and do it.
Yes, and it's wonderful. It's through Schoology. ABN worked on that as well, and they've got a video tutorial and they've got picture tutorials, depending on what your mode of
Like scaffolded
learning.
professional
It's scaffolding
developers.
learning. You can do it.
All right, and then our last tool, or maybe not the last, we'll see, is don't use your Promethean in isolation. It does have a computer built in, so you have access to more software and more materials than just if it were just a regular board. It doesn't work necessarily like the smart boards. You don't have to have an additional projector anymore. It saves a lot of space. If you are under the new installation, like it's on a nice little wheeled like cart thing that moves back and forth. So don't use it in isolation. Get some pairs up there. You know, do some partner work, some small group work. Incorporate your students to make it more interactive.
And as crazy as it is, it may be something that you've had them do on a Chromebook before or on a tablet, but when you have them come up to the board to interact, maybe you're having them show how they figured out the math warm-up. Having them come up to the board, it really just brings that level of integration that the kids love. Yeah, I could have done this with a whiteboard on a with a whiteboard marker on a whiteboard, but the fact that I get to do it with my finger on panel just makes me more excited.
It's instantaneous data. You can save it, you can screenshot it, you can send it to yourself to look at when you get back home. I really like the fact that it's connecting us in the classroom in more ways than we used to be able to do with like the flip charts and the, you know, what were the whiteboards called?
It's the little flip whiteboards, and then it's done, and they erase, and you have no data of what they did.
So now I can like click save, move on to the next class, move on to the next set of students.
Beautiful.
All right. So I think I just had like some personal ones. Now it's out of the list. Is for every 2 things that you do that's in your comfort zone with your Promethean, try at least one thing that's kind of like putting you in a new direction. Ask for some assistance from somewhere else. Click start and just play around with the computer.
There's definitely the Windows store that you can look and pull down some apps from it. I probably shouldn't get, you know, some games on there, but there are different options that you can get from the web store to really play around with. There are whiteboard apps if that's something that you just absolutely want to stick with, but there's options out there. And coming out of your comfort zone, I encourage you to ask other contents, because they may be using it in a way that you wouldn't have thought fits your content, but it's brilliant, and you can definitely use it that way too.
Definitely. I really just want to say, I can speak on my teachers really, that when you just kind of like step out of that box and try it, it's really not that bad. I think even I have some teachers that have been like, they're 100% technology. All I want to do is win with technology. And I have some teachers that are still trying to figure out how to plug in a keyboard. But
we love them all.
We do. And we work with them all because the kids need to experience this type of work.
And I mean, when you think about the fact that they are technology natives, you've got toddlers unlocking phones just because they've watched the pattern of your passcode. They are born with touchscreen devices in their hand. They don't even know how to use keyboards half the time.
Exactly.
So they love this. They want to be using it. And some of the teachers that have been a little bit more hesitant have noticed when the students initiate it, that's where the magic happens.
It internalizes a lot more. I really think that our students gain a lot from these Prometheans when it's independent learning.
Yeah.
And it's not someone staring at you saying, click it. I told you to click it right now. You didn't click the right button. No, just sit down. Stop it. And they're actually able to explore. I pick up some preschool kids and bring them to my campus every day. And literally, they come in my room, they stand in front of the Promethean, and they click. And they click. And just when you think they're done listening to that repetitive, irritating song for the 13th, 14th time, they click refresh, and they start clicking again. So, I mean, our students they're touchscreen children, I think. They're not so much keyboard, computing. I think right now if I put a kid in front of Microsoft Word and said type, they may get a little scared. If I said Google Sheets or Google Docs, they might know a little bit more.
Right.
But it's interesting just to see how everything is changing and evolving with our students. And we have to do the same in our classes.
So we asked our viewers ahead of time to ask us questions on Flipgrid. So if you haven't used Flipgrid, it's an awesome tool for getting feedback, questions, comments, concerns. And so we're going to go to our question board and see what some of the questions are that you guys have for the Promethean board.
Hi. For teachers who do not want at this time to hook up their Ladybug Red document cameras to their Promethean board, are there workarounds that are recommended and effective? In addition, what ideas can you all give us in terms of using it in the language arts classroom?
All right, so Monica wanted to know TC.
Yes, which is like a personal favorite of mine, because that's all the work I do right now. So when it comes to integrating our Prometheans into Teachers College, into the framework of Teachers College, the easiest way is going to be using the timers. The timers play a large role in keeping us on schedule in our classes. And one of my teachers actually taught me something. Can I show it to you?
Yeah.
All right. So using the computer, if you go to the Start menu, alarms and clocks, it's already built in for you. You can see here I have 3 timers for my class. I have my 10-minute bell work, my 15-minute mini lesson, and even my 45-minute independent practice. As soon as the kids come into class, click Start, and it goes. Okay, TC will tell you as soon as that timer goes off, you get a 30-second transition. Okay, that one's done, and I'm going to move. That one's going to be done, and then we're going to move into the next section. And it takes all of like 30 seconds to make a new one. So you're going to go down to the plus sign, put how many minutes you have. We'll put a 1-minute timer on. And then the most important part is to always remember to name it. So I'm going to name this one Share at the end of my class because it's the most important time, making sure you understand what your students know. Click Save. Bam, we're in there. So now I have an entire balanced literacy schedule presented in what? How long did it take? 15 seconds? Not even 10 minutes. All right.
And then the other question that she had was, if I don't want to plug in my document camera directly into my Promethean board, what are my other options? Well, all of our Promethean boards come with Air Server. So if you've got a Chromebook or a tablet or iPad that is from the district, you can screencast to it. You don't even need something fancy. I've used in the past a pizza stand because it's open on the bottom, and just use that as my document camera.
I'm going to write that one down.
Amazon has some really cool ones that you can buy that are like telescoping and hold your iPad in awesome angles. But you turn on the camera, and it's now a document camera. And then you can screenshot and take photos of what you're doing and save it for later.
Save it for later. Save it for later.
And then I don't have to stay put. I can move my document camera,
right,
aka iPad, somewhere else and use it somewhere else.
That will be fun.
That's the beauty of
I see projects coming my way.
Yes.
I see lots of projects. Do we have another question?
We have another question.
All right, let's see.
Okay. If I had a question about Promethean board, it would be, how do you use it in a student-centered classroom so that the teacher is not the one giving the information and the students are writing it down, but the students are using it as active participants in creating their learning and discovery?
So listening to Kevin's question, I think the gist of it was, how do we use our Prometheans to allow for more student-centered work or student participation? I am a big fan of literacy centers. I think every discipline in Aldine is using some type of workstation or literacy center. And the easiest way is just to pull it up on a website. So I have one for our younger students. It's called ABC Ya. And all you have to do is pick a grade, any grade.
I'm going to go with grade 2.
Grade 2 for 1,000. Okay. Again, you give the students a particular game that you would like them to play, and then they're able to access that. And you can take a rubric, check in with them, and understand what exactly they're doing and what you could help coach them more on. All right?
I love Flash.
I know, Flash is
Why don't
amazing.
we allow Flash? If it says you can't use Flash, just go to the eye and allow it.
There we go. All right, do we want to try it again?
Yeah, you have to hit reload.
Okay, let's reload. And then go back to the slider puzzle.
Ta-da.
And then we have Flash.
Slider puzzle.
All right. So again, it'll allow the students to be able to manipulate the game independently.
Lowercase.
And I again always walk around with my rubric.
Yikes! The
And just
alphabet
write
is
anecdotal
out of
notes
order.
to ensure
Press
that the
the
students have
arrows
mastered
that
that
appear
skill.
over the
And then
letter
what are my
boxes
next steps with
to
that
put
kid?
the
That actually
alphabet
looks
in
very
order.
interesting and very
How
confusing.
many moves
Well,
will it
I'm trying to
take
see if I
you
know
to
my
Oh, you
alphabet.
have to put them in
complete the
order.
puzzle?
You have to put them in order.
Another great option is, if you're doing something where you want them to annotate something.
Yes.
Whether it's in literacy or you want them to label a diagram in science or you want them to do a math problem. You have an awesome tool called the screen sketch. It'll be in the bottom corner and it has a little pencil and it basically takes a screenshot of what you're doing and then you get to annotate whatever is on your screen.
Now, another, for annotations, another app, a Google app, that we use on our Prometheans a lot is Kami, K-A-M-I. You're able to highlight, underline. I'm a reading teacher, people. And then that way you can actually show the students what you expect to see on their work, whole group, instead of you having to write it or sketch it out on your own.
Awesome. All right, and we have one more question on our flip grid.
There you go.
Other than Nearpod, what are some other uses for my Promethean board?
All right, so other than Nearpod, what can our teachers do? Is that what I heard?
I think that's the gist of it. Yep, yep.
I think that's the gist. So I think, did we have a response that kind of answered
We
some
did
of that?
have a response. So
I love it when people do their homework.
So let's go back. And let's listen to Miss Tatum tell us sideways what she does.
Hi, my name is Ms. Tatum, and I teach 6th grade math at S Community Intermediate. And some of the ways I like to use the board for small groups, it works as a whiteboard right beside my table here. And also, I like to use the timer. So in the classroom, it's a great visual for students. Here's another whiteboard sort of screen that works pretty easily. And additionally, I like to show slides for the students alongside instructions. So maybe, for example, dismissal, I have this up on the board. And furthermore, if you didn't catch me at TCCA, I love to use my handheld wireless keyboard so that I can interact with my computer from anywhere in the classroom. So if I wanted to change my website, I can walk all the way across the room. And from here, using the keyboard, I can control and pull up other activities. And maybe you can kind of see that changing from here as I stand across the room. So again, with this and the Promethean, it really helps to improve my instruction.
And I saw her use a tool that we all love.
Yes. It is the classroom screen. So, can I model it?
Go for it.
All right. Or do you want to do it? Okay.
You're really excited about it.
I am. Because I just learned about it this week. All right. So, with classroom screen, you have a couple different options. Of course, you can just have text and then type the text on there with your keyboard. Thank you, madam. Hello. Or we'll go short and say hi. I can save that right there. If I ever want to send a note to the students when they're walking into class, it can already be there. It also has a built-in timer. Bam. Oh, it actually moved. Yay. Okay. If you don't want to use the timer that's built onto your Promethean already, you can have your classroom screen timer as well. And then the most interesting part is the traffic light. Definitely if you're elementary. Okay, please remember you have to have a microphone hooked up to your Promethean for this to work. But it gives you the green, yellow, and red light for like how loud your students get. And then the last one is the drawing tool. Yes, the drawing tool, if you're familiar with the like old smart boards. Oh, we double moved it. The old smart boards, this kind of like recreates that feeling of being able to just click a color, draw, write, click a color, draw, right. And then you can also even upload images to, if you want to annotate, you can just annotate here, refresh it at the end of that class, and then you start fresh and new.
And one of the things that my teachers have loved is the work symbols. You can have a symbol to let them know what kind of talking we should be doing.
Is allowed.
Are we in silence, or are we working together? And so it's a nice visual representation of how we're supposed to be working when we're working in groups.
I'm learning so much stuff today on the spot. Something else that I saw in our video at the end was the use of wireless keyboards. Now, this is, I hope I don't get in trouble for saying this. Okay. We cannot buy wireless keyboards and wireless mouse for every teacher.
No.
No, we can't.
We don't.
That's just not. But it does help your life oh the more when you have access to something like that, because you can be anywhere in the class and the students can see exactly what you're typing, whether you're at the back of the room monitoring proximity. You can put a message up. It's like a universal message board.
And I struggle with the keyboard that's on the screen.
Yes.
I don't know if I just fat finger it or something, but I just always type things incorrectly. So I enjoy having a nice wireless keyboard, Bluetooth keyboard that I can walk around with to demonstrate.
And now they have the ones that have the built-in mouse that you can
yes,
just move
those
around.
are
It's
awesome.
so much quicker. Or so much faster.
Some other things that we can do for student-centered integration. BrainPop has tons of games that you can use as a workstation. And that's one of the things that we really want to drive home today as we finish up, is that utilize this as another station. So you don't have to constantly be the instructor, the owner of the Promethean board. Have your students have something assigned to them here, and they work together cooperatively to figure it out.
You really sound like an invest appraisal right now. I just want you
Oh, yay! I think.
Fours for everyone. Fours for everyone.
So I think we've hit our do's and don'ts.
We have. We've covered all of our do's and don'ts.
We've done our flip grid questions.
We have.
Now, I need a certificate.
I do need a certificate for being here because it's after work and like I'm not getting paid to be here. So I might want to. Where do I need to go in order to get that information?
We are going to be giving out a Google form link so that all you have to do is answer the 3 easy questions that if you've paid half attention to us, you'll be able to answer with relative ease, and we'll get you your certificate.
Those are always my favorite PDs. I love those.
I don't want to make you think too hard.
Yeah. Well, maybe next time we can like give some.
Up the ante?
Yeah, just a little bit more. Because are you coming back next time?
I'm coming back next time.
I'll be here next time. I'm really excited. What do you think we should talk about next time?
I think we need to go more into screencasting.
Screencasting. Completely lost. No clue what you're talking about right
Well,
now.
we're going to do it.
Like I know I can take it off of my phone and put it somewhere else. Don't really know how to get there.
That'll be something we can talk about next week.
Yes.
I'm Suzy Garcia at Gadgets Garcia.
And I am Gregory Castille at No Teacher Like Me.
And we're reminding you to stay techie, Houston, and join us next time for episode 2 of iTechNation.